Open session. That's you, Mary. Okay.
All right, trustee Wright. Trustee Brownell.
Here.
Trustee Ross. Here. Trustee Castillo.
Here.
And trustee Brown.
Here.
All are present.
All right, item 1.2, approval of the agenda.
Staff does recommend approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
Nope.
All right, trustee Brownell. Aye. Trustee Ross.
Aye.
Trustee Castillo.
Aye.
Trustee Fred.
Aye.
And trustee Ryder.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, item 1.3, public comment for closed session items. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak? Seeing none. Open session is now closed. Ready, reconvening open session. It is 6:37 PM. First up, Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just to stare at the flag.
What's the I'm on this side and Mary's on the right. No better.
All right, item 3.2, report on closed session agenda items.
Okay, the board voted 5-0 in favor of accepting an employee resignation.
All right, public input 4.1. Is there, sorry, I'm going ahead. I skipped correspondence. It's 4.1. Is there any correspondence that came in? Excuse me. 4.2, public comment. At this point in the agenda, the board welcomes comments on matters of district interest. Is there anybody from the public that would like to comment? Seeing none, we will move on. Approval of minutes 5.1 of the regular meeting minutes of June 3rd, 2024.
So we have two minutes attached from both board meetings in June, both June 3rd and June 18th, and staff recommends approval of the minutes.
Can one motion cover both?
They may.
I move that we accept the regular meeting minutes of June 3rd and of
June 18th.
2024.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Trustee Ross.
Aye.
Trustee Castillo.
Aye.
Trustee Trent.
Aye.
Trustee Wright.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Information discussion 6.1, board member reports. I don't have anything school related since I saw the Perseid meteor shower this weekend. That was cool. That's it.
Nothing school related. No.
I had a really good root beer earlier today. Highly recommend coming if they offer it.
Group of what?
Rupert floats.
Oh.
Yeah, the PTA root beer float, yes.
That was excellent.
I love it too. It's my annual root beer float. I'm like, I forget how much I like these.
The other thing that I saw earlier, just how enthusiastic the kids were. I mean, and I'm not talking about, just a few kids. It was kids running up to parents, telling them what's going to happen. Kids talking to each other, looking forward to being here. Just really, really impressed with the students.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
No.
All right, 6.2, superintendent's report.
Great. So we do, I don't believe it's in the folder, but we will project the superintendent report. It's just going to quickly highlight over the summer, some of the great things that we were able to accomplish. I do want to once again publicly thank, Martin and Manny and Ben, who have worked tirelessly this summer to do some great upgrades to our facilities. They did deep cleaning in every classroom. You'll notice when you leave today, they did a kind of a different landscaping in front of these large windows where there was these very overgrown bushes. It's very nice and clean and open, in which actually a lot of the staff and parents recognized when they came in feeling like, wow, this is so bright and open where the kids eat every day, which is great. Worked incredibly hard. Liz and Mel and Mary also worked most of the summer. And they're catching up, making sure everything's ready for the school year, and Becky. So, we are ready to open school tomorrow. I do have a later informational item that will talk about the opening of school tomorrow. Additionally, we wanted to thank, PTA. For the first time in a little bit of time, they participated in our Cayuga's 4th of July parade and had a wonderful float that centered around a boat. The kids, kind of a pirate ship fun theme around a kind of a speedboat, in which the kids did tons of scootering and just were fantastic. So they had a great time on the parade, which was wonderful. And then the other aspects of summer were just really getting some training done.
Bless you.
Bless you. And in the big idea of training is we had our first literacy training for students. Lisa Jensen and Brett Grenz, two of our certificated staff members, championed a literacy academy that was really largely funded by our local Rotary. They donated $2,500 to help cover the costs. They saw students individually and in small group and specifically worked on fluency and decoding and writing skills. We did look at personalized invitations for students who might truly benefit from that, and then broadened the invitations too, as you know, people had vacations planned and whatnot. We offered 2 sessions. The kids came 2 hours a day and had tremendous success and just joy around reading and writing, and it was just fantastic. So we also had teachers who worked. We had Miss Peterson, we had Miss DeVos, our drama teacher, who got trained in literacy to work,
Wow.
which was great. And then, of course, our talented para-educator team, and they got some extensive training, which they'll use throughout the school year. But then got to practice that in the summer academy. And then last but not least, our professional training. In addition to that, we did some handwriting without tears training. The state of California created hey, we took it away, but now we want it back, Senate bill, which meant, if you guys recall cursive, all of us probably were taught cursive in grade school. Years ago, cursive was taken off the books. In fact, my daughter, who's graduated, in June, she was in 3rd grade when they said cursive is no longer necessary to teach, right? So that gives you an idea. So what would that be? 8 years ago. Well, the Senate bill now passed that cursive is now required to teach in the state of California in public schools. So our teachers had a retraining on printing and cursive training to help students have better penmanship, read cursive, write cursive, all of that. And that's launching tomorrow at our first day of school, and throughout the school year. I would say a vast majority of teachers and parents are quite pleased that that's happening. If you're like me, where you have an 18-year-old, you're like, that's your signature?
Yeah.
Because they've never formalized their ability to read or to write cursive.
Really bad, the handwriting.
Yeah, and handwriting in general, right? So, yeah, you guys will, and then when you guys visit classrooms, we have a set time each day. So if you really want to see handwriting, we'll make sure to schedule your time during that, where every elementary class is teaching handwriting during that time. So that is also so that Liz and I can be part of the process. So, if you don't know when it's being taught and you're in 1st grade, oh, I just taught it, or here at that period. So because it is such a focus and we're launching it, we're making sure that we're all doing it at this committed time throughout every day, except on Wednesdays, because it's such a shortened day. That's the one day that we're not. And last but not least, we had a great group of teachers and paraeducators who came in August 8th. And we did a writing articulation. So basically we said, hey, I don't, in their reflection as well as mine and Liz's, I don't feel like our writing is up to the standard of our other achievement that we have here. So as you guys know, we have really high achieving students and engaged parents. Yet there seems to be this gap between what kids are being able to story tell you, and then just write fluidly, whether that is an argumentative essay, a narrative essay, or an explanatory essay, which are the three main parts. So we committed as a team to really looking at what grade level is teaching what with writing, and what does that look like when you do it to a mastery level, and who owns what aspect of teaching that, and really made it a focus for this school year. Interesting enough, in September, when the state scores are released, you will see that we really have a great pulse on that, which is good news and bad news, because our state writing scores are significantly below our math and English language arts scores. So we are doing really well with teaching conventions, the grammar aspect, but those other aspects are not solid. So good and bad news of that is that the data actually supports exactly how we felt, and we weren't being like, oh gosh, they should be writing better, I know it. It actually solidified that, and our focus and commitment to increasing their ability to write fluidly and comprehensively in those different genres. So that's our summer in a nutshell, which has been great. And we're happy about the weather today because it's been sort of a June gloom that lasted all through Cayuga, but school is starting, the sun's out, so it's going to make it hard not to go to the beach, but we're ready for school to start tomorrow.
Well, you know, it's August.
Yeah, that's true. Hopefully not that.
Summer.
Exactly. So there's all those dates on there.
Oh, yeah,
You know-
that's the next item.
You have two different dates for Java with Jen.
We might have to do Java with Jen's.
Okay, one's on Friday and then next week.
We have, the next item is 6.3, which
6.3.
is welcome back to school. So this one really just highlights the next few dates that we have, or next few dates in the upcoming months. It also, on the attachment for those who are listening at home, we have our new instructional calendar for the 24-25 school year, as well as the new bell schedule. And so those are nicely attached, and you can kind of see as they're color coded on which days are emphasized as holidays or regular school days. A couple key points coming up is obviously the first day of school tomorrow. It's already here.
You see one.
And then we have an assembly this Friday. It's not
I'm looking at
listed
that.
there, but our leadership kiddos are ready to put on an assembly to teach our character traits of being safe, responsible, respectful, and kind. And so they're launching that Friday afternoon at 2:20, 2:30-ish, which will be awesome. All student run. And Ms. DeVos and Mr. Way have really worked with them and led that charge. Back to school night might be something you might want to mark on your calendar, which is August 28th. PTA meeting starts at 4:30, and then our sessions start at 5, second session at 5:45. And we will have food here for people to purchase if they want to kind of hang out as adults, outdoor setting, and talk with staff and just enjoy the awesome setting that we have here. Couple other things in September, because it will be here before we know it. We will have Grandparents' Day and Patriot Day on September 9th, which is a special flagpole recognizing Patriots' Day, which is the week of September 11th, and then also our grandparents. We also have the Constitution Day, which is 9/16, and our week of activities around the Constitution Day. We launched that in collaboration with Trustee Brownell actually last year, and it was awesome. And so we're super excited about that piece too. And again, it's one of those things that everything's important. It feels like, oh my gosh, we're doing this, we're doing that. So it's good to pause and really say, we're going to take some time to really emphasize this versus that kind of flyby mode, which I think is wonderful. We are going to have our first Rock Your School event, which is a national event where it's actually just quite fun and about culture and just having high energy and being excited about learning and growing together. So more details to that will follow. Unless you are watching at home and are part of a band and like to volunteer your time, you can contact Linda Rye. We would love to have you. Because we are very talented in many things, but musically inclined is not one of them. And then Liz is going to launch her first family game night of the year. And if you haven't attended that, it's also a great time to come in. The kids play games in the gym. There's usually food there. And it's just, again, another time to build community in a school setting. So we are off and running on the 24-25 school year, which is kind of
Nice.
crazy to think about, but we are ready to rock. Last but not least, our middle school schedules have changed. As you guys know, we've worked really hard to make sure our middle school, even though small, is mighty and engaging. So we are adding our tutorial period this year. That tutorial period is a approximately 30-minute period that will rotate between accelerated and intervention math. Kids will have for 6 weeks, history day. It will have speech for all students and that ability to have speech contest, and then community and leadership skills. So community service and leadership skills. So it will be this wonderful wheel that's also integrated within the day. It will also bring great variety to students. So one of the things that's lovely about Cayucas is that we're little, and this little group of like a 6th grade class go through every year together. But that can also be quite challenging. So what I think you're going to really like, and students will too, is that this year there is variation in their schedule. So your 7th graders are not stuck in 7th grade pod going through every single class, just changing classrooms. We have our gate level class for history this year. So our 7th grade is split. There's 2 different PE sections with 7 and 8 together. So there's variety that happens. There's variety in the elective period. There's variety in the tutorial period. And that's going to bring like large scoping engagement, but it is also going to help them transition to the reality of high school and beyond, and not just still be that little group of 18 kids who have always been together and who always, move like this. So I think it's gonna be great. It's actually really exciting for them to get their schedules today, because they were like, wait, what period do you have this? What period do you have that? Which they've never said, right? Because it was, yeah, it really does give
Right.
a feeling of a comprehensive middle school. And I would like to go on record to say, and I'm probably gonna jinx it, and don't kick me under the table, this year we didn't lose one middle schooler. And in years past, you would see anywhere from 2 to 6 middle schoolers who are like, we're gonna talk to the little school, we wanna go to Los Osos, or we wanna go, which is all great, and everybody has their own journey, and we support families with that 100%. But I'd like to say this year we did not lose any. In fact, we just took students in. And we will, we have on a later one, our enrollment, which you were going to be seeing a number that we haven't seen in
Saw
quite some
that.
time, so which is great.
Good.
So that is our back to school. Welcome back.
So I see what Chris said though, because the calendar has Java with Jen on the 9/27, and the agenda has it as 10/1.
Let's see.
So pick
I
one.
will-
They're both weekdays. You can do them both.
And do both.
It's gonna be coffee one of the
Yeah.
time. And I'll bring the coffee the other time. No, I'll make sure that's solidified. I'm not sure which one it is, but we'll check it out. We
Alright.
will have coffee for the first day of school tomorrow too for parents. So donuts, Liz is bringing the donuts, I'm bringing the coffee. And so as parents are happy and sad as they drop off their babies, we will give them some caffeine and some sugar. And
And
a
then
big
move
hug,
along, move
and
along.
a big hug, and then we'll move them along on their way for sure. But it's gonna be a great school year. I would like to also publicly thank Mr. Leary. Mr. Leary is a fantastic retiree who is helping us out. We do have an opening in our history department. And he is going to be our teacher of record. So no worries. I know some people have seen the advertisement. We are getting great applicants. But until then, we have an extraordinary experienced teacher who loves children and loves history. So we are all set to open school.
Awesome. All right, next up, 6.4 Board of Trustees election process.
Yes, so as the public knows in the board, we've had some significant dates that just passed, and I was just gonna come up here really quickly. And make sure that we talk about these. So we've had from July 5th, or July 15th to August 9th, we had an opening for declaration of candidacy. We have 2 openings in our district. We have our trustee area 4 and 5. During that period, community members who live in those areas were able to declare candidacy. And it was essential on August 9th, last Friday, that in those areas, if the incumbent filed, that they must file before August 9th. If an incumbent didn't file in an area, then that area would be open for 1 more week.
But the incumbent can't at that
But the
point.
incumbent can't file. So with that said, in the area of 4, you're 5. Are you 4? You're 5. In trustee area 4, our candidacy for people putting in their name actually continues until
Friday.
this Friday. Because Val, our incumbent, did not file.
I'm
on the
gonna
9th.
correct you just because I got corrected.
Sure.
There's no incumbent for 4 or 5 because we weren't elected by our districts. So there's technically not an incumbent for 4 or 5.
That's what they said.
Because the thing changed
Well,
after you.
because the law now is by district.
Because you were elected at large,
Uh-huh.
is what you're
The
saying.
District didn't elect me. The community elected.
I
me.
got you, yeah.
So I got corrected, so
Oh,
you're getting
interesting.
corrected.
So that means the filing period is.
That would mean it was over.
It's
Send
sent
for
for
vote,
vote, that's what,
yeah.
I was like, wait, I need to apply that which way, thank you for that,
For both.
perfect, so let me clarify that then.
That's
From what
interesting.
board trustee member Brownell is saying then, is because we shifted during this last 4-year process.
Yes.
The areas of trustees were not allocated last time, so no one was actually technically elected in trustee area 4 or 5. They
So
were
3 of us
elected at
would be
large.
incumbents.
Right.
but
Thus
it changed.
stating
Right.
that the candidacy periods for both 4 and 5 are open until this Friday.
Yes.
Thank you. Currently, there are 2 candidates in both areas running, so we will have elections in those areas. And we will not have to knock on doors and appoint, which is great. With that said, Val Wright has served on our board and will continue to serve on our board until December. For 8 wonderful years and has done a stellar job. And we're already recruiting him for jobs at the school. So don't think you're not roped in. We're ready.
I got notice today and I'll send it out to everybody, but on the 19th of August, coming up really soon, they're going to have a night for anyone who has put their name in the election as kind of candidate. for
Who's
job.
they?
The county office
Okay.
of education. I've got the information, I just got it today, so that'll go out, it should go out to everybody's individual emails that have decided to run, but I will send it out as well.
Okay, so it's
Yeah.
like a
That
workshop.
works out for people who have signed up to.
Perfect. And was it at the county office building?
I don't know, I haven't even looked at it.
Okay.
but I was-
Great, great. So that's it. I want to thank the candidates who have put their names in. As all of us know, it is a wonderful opportunity to serve your community, but it also can be very challenging, especially when the unforeseen happens and there isn't a right answer, like you're just doing your very best and you don't make everyone happy. So I appreciate everybody's willingness and bravery and courage to run.
All right, next up, consent agenda. 7.1, approval of the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Well, second.
Any further discussion? Trustee Castillo.
Aye.
Trustee Grant.
Aye.
Trustee Wright.
Aye.
Trustee Brown. Trustee Ross.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Excellent. Section 8 is action session. 8.1, approve and accept donations.
So staff recommends approval of our generous donations, and you will notice on here. If I can find oh, there we go, thank you. You will notice on here some great donations. For example, throughout the community and the travelers who came to Cayucas, we received $5,874 in donations for our 4th of July parking fundraiser. I also want to publicly thank Liz Villalobos for spearheading that on the 4th of July holiday. And that's wonderful, and it goes towards our 8th grade trip. The next one is the Cayucas Rotary, a wonderful partner to Cayucas, donated $2,500, as I spoke of earlier, for our literacy intervention. It helped not only pay for staffing, but also wonderful books at the students' different levels that they could take home as a gift at the end of the Literacy Academy. And last but not least, a very generous donation from the Community Foundation of Estero Bay, which came at the very end of last year, which supplemented any families that we had that were struggling to pay for after-school care. And that was a $4,300,
Well,
which is phenomenal and really great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not familiar with that group. Have they donated before?
Yes,
Yeah.
they have donated before. A lot of their events specifically related to our students are community events where they sponsor students to have access to things like, you know, the fees in a soccer league or other activities that happen, for example, in the Morro Bay and Los Osos areas. So they will sponsor our kids so that they will have accessibility to that. And then they have done sponsorships, but never, at least in the last 2 years, as entering my 3rd year at this larger amount. They had a very successful fundraiser. They're a wonderful organization. And with that increased funds said, how else can we help? Can we please do this? A champion in connection for that for us is Hannah Held, a longtime employee who continues to be a champion for our school. And of course, she's one part of that puzzle, but she is a wonderful connector to that organization for us. Anything else to add to that, Liz, that I might be missing?
Yeah, they help the entire areas of Los Osos.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Up to Cambridge. So
Hmm.
any kid that wants to do dance, baseball, football.
So great.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of scholarships go out of that group.
Thank you. So staff recommends approval of, and we're looking at over here, there's just about over $10,000 of in 1 month or month and a half of our summer of support from our community.
I'll make a motion to accept the donations.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Trustee Brand,
Aye.
trustee Wright,
That's what we are.
trustee Brownell, trustee Ross.
Aye.
Trustee Castillo.
Aye.
Motion passes 5.
All right, next up is 8.2, approval of the enrollment.
So, I know, or do we one more? Darn it, start with the other one.
Yeah.
Okay, so we, in front of you, you have 189 students as our enrollment report. 2 years ago, we sat at just low 170s, right around 172, 173. We've had families move into the area, which is wonderful for our Cayucas community. And then in addition to that, we've had an increase in interdistrict transfers, especially in the area of middle school. And so we are sitting just under 190 students. Currently, as we sit today, entering school at 188, because there's always a little fluctuation as the school year starts, but we'll update the board in September. And enrollment is, can fluctuate for the good and the bad, things we can't control. But we are very hopeful that some of the things we can control are continuing to entice people to attend our wonderful school, including our talented staff and programs.
I move that we approve the enrollment report.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Trustee Wright,
All right.
trustee Brown, trustee Ross.
Aye.
Trustee Castillo,
Aye.
trustee Brand.
Aye.
Motion passes 5.
8.3, MOU between Coast Unified and Cayucas Elementary for translation services, school year 24-25.
We'd like to publicly thank Coast Unified, who continues to support us as a small school district. And by sharing employees and helping us give access to our Spanish-speaking families. So we are billed only for the services we use. And they have done a beautiful job helping us with parent meetings, individual education plans, and conferencing in education and translation services. So staff does recommend approval.
I'll make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Trustee Brownell.
Aye.
Trustee Ross.
Aye.
Trustee Castillo.
Aye.
Trustee Friend.
Aye.
Trustee Wright.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, 8.4, non-public, non-secretary and school/agency services, master contract for 24-25.
So staff is bringing forward a very large contract for the potential services for an individual student with special needs. This placement is done through an individual education meeting or program in which they look at the unique needs of an individual. And so currently we have one student in a non-public school setting. And so this contract covers the services for that student.
I'll make a motion that we accept the contract.
All second.
Any further discussion? Trustee Ross.
Aye.
Trustee Castillo.
Aye.
Trustee Friend.
Aye.
Trustee Wright.
Aye.
Trustee Brownell. Aye. Motion passes 5-0.
8.5, CSBA's annual education conference.
So I know that this looks redundant because we did have this topic before. But what we wanted to do is when we approved the last time, we said, hey, the board would look at attendance at CSBA's annual educational conference or the Washington DC Coast to Coast CSBA AXA conference in the spring. So it is time to start registering individuals for the CSBA annual educational conference. It takes place December 5th through the 7th. It's a little later than historically. It's usually the last week in November and then goes through like December 1st or 2nd, but it's a little later. It is in Anaheim, the lovely city of Anaheim, California. And so we would just like to know who would like to be registered and then have the formal approval of those people attending so Mary can do all of the legwork around that.
So is the 4th like a travel day or what time do they start the 5th? I didn't.
Yeah, I haven't
looked
looked at
that
the
up.
schedule.
So the 4th is for new trustees. So Mary will tentatively reserve 2 spots for new trustees that we can cancel because we won't know until November and all of those new trustee sessions will be filled. We did the
Right.
same thing when you guys ran because we didn't know who was gonna win. And then in the end, we can cancel that one on the new trustees. So that's that new day. Then the 5th starts in the morning, that bright and early session.
Okay.
So that would mean that most likely your travel day, if you're not, if any of you are going, if it's all of us again as a team, then we would travel on the 4th, starting the 5th at that like 8:30, I think, the first session.
Why did it go from San Diego to Anaheim?
It changes every year.
Yeah, so
It's never been in Anaheim.
no.
Yeah, and then it
so
goes to Sacramento. and
Yeah,
then-
it's actually, they've got feedback from members that, okay, it's great that you're always doing San Diego and San Francisco. But the state is so humongous that those both are quite large travel. So now they're looking at closer to like a 4-location rotation. So that they will do the Anaheim, then Sacramento,
Oh,
then I believe it's
interesting.
back to San Diego, then San Francisco.
And when's the Washington DC one?
Oh,
It was March, April, it was March, April. It
It's
was,
April.
it was the end of March, beginning of April this year.
yes.
Oh,
So it's,
so it'd be next year at the same time.
Yeah.
I would assume so.
I think I have dates. Hold on, I
It's okay,
recently
it's
looked at
fine.
that.
April 8th to
Thank you.
April 10th.
There we go.
Oh, thank you.
So what do you, I mean, so
So I guess we're looking at, is there anyone that knows that they're gonna go?
Is
Are
it,
we still considering it?
is it over on the 7th? I can't find it.
Oh,
I can't pull up the,
It's
Saturday, 6th is a full day, 7th is usually a half day.
I got done at lunch. There's a
Yeah.
keynote speaker or this
there you go.
state of the state
Yeah,
or
there
something.
it is.
6th are the major.
Saturday's a very light day.
Yeah,
Not Saturday, Friday. Oh, it is Saturday.
Yeah, the Saturday days, like, I will say typically, and I'll do whatever the board would like, because I'll be there with you or not with you. I'm not gonna attend if obviously you guys are attend. Depending on the individuals, Saturday is if there was a day for you not to attend, because it's only usually two quick sessions. Let's see, current breakout.
The breakouts in the
Yeah,
morning.
it's like 2 sessions and then it looks like a book signing, where the other days are fully loaded in sessions. Do you guys want us
I'd like to
to?
think about it.
Yeah, that's
It's
fine.
a firm maybe.
I'll go.
I plan on going.
We forgot
We forgot something.
Okay, so I'll do it. That's fine.
So what kind of
we have one more
emotion,
thing.
so what kind of emotion do we need for this? I mean, I don't,
I,
kinda-
okay, well, I think we just need clarity. So can we just move forward with it? I guess we don't want to be presumptuous. Are we able, is the board comfortable with us just moving forward to individually schedule the people who would like to go or not?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we know that
Cancel.
ultimately,
Yeah.
like, Gretchen and Susan may choose to do the, Washington DC one in the spring. You two may choose to do this one, and we're all good with that.
see, I thought we voted that it's either all CSBA or coast to coast. So now I'm
No, we came
confused.
up with a good compromise.
I said that would be my
Yeah.
preference, but that's not what, I don't believe that's
So
what
what
I
do
think you came up with a compromise with,
what works.
I forgot
for
what you
people.
said, one or the other, it was.
That's
you
what I
could
thought.
choose. You could choose.
Yeah, I think too, it was kind of, if I remember correctly, what Chris was trying to clarify with that was, we can all decide to go to this now, and then later in the year can decide to send a couple to that or not to.
Oh,
and
to
that's the-
Washington, yes, that's what I
We
think
didn't
it
have to
was.
make it an either or now, it
Yeah.
could be
Yeah.
a little bit more of a fluid
I believe
situation.
Yeah, I think.
It became a question just because I like the cost
Yeah.
Okay.
for everybody here to go. I just thought
No,
was a
absolutely.
little much.
Okay,
So
so
can I
we will
be, can I get back to you on that one? I mean, I'm pretty sure I'd like to go
you
to.
can totally get back to us.
Okay.
Right, and if I'm here, I might want to do the Washington.
Right. I think
So-
you would really like it.
Yeah,
I do. Okay, sounds good. So we will individually schedule with people. We will reserve 2 spots.
for new
Well-
trustees, just
well,
in
just
case.
in case.
Just thinking.
Yeah, but then what if,
It's easier to cancel, just get the
Yeah,
spot.
Cancel.
Yeah.
depends on what the
The
cancellation.
hotel is an odd thing this year, so I put that separate because they aren't working with me on that. So the hotels are already booked for now, which I
we
had to
can
get it when I had, I can always cancel. That's not a big deal, but I already booked rooms. Just in case.
Great.
But then the early registration for the actual conference is by this Saturday. So I'm
Oh,
gonna get-
so that's what it
that's
was,
why
the
we need to
timing.
get that.
Because
It
it
means- Yeah, I would be saving about $1,000
Oh, that's good.
if I book by this Friday.
And no cancellation fees.
No cancellation fees.
For
They
the
don't
conference,
get-
there's not?
Yeah, because that early bird special, and then they pop up another,
Right, but if you register now and you cancel that,
it's fine, you just,
Hmm.
yeah. People do it a lot because they don't know how many are gonna go, but
Right,
you have
right,
to
right.
just get it just in case.
right.
And then, yeah,
Where's the hotel?
I'm 1 mile away from the convention center. It's
Oh.
at Hilton. Yeah,
Hilton and.
Right there.
What is that?
you could.
It's
walk
in
Garden
there.
Grove? Oh,
It's, yeah.
No, it's right by the convention
Yeah,
center.
it's right next to it.
okay.
You saw, it's like, oh, we'll do it. Okay, perfect.
So do you need us to tell you yes or no right now?
So we'll
Or-
email you, as long as you're all comfortable, we make sure that you guys are good with individuals making that decision. At the most, we'll have 5 go, and then we'll bring back the discussion.
Well, plus you and Mary, I
to-
mean.
Okay, yeah, we'll bring back the discussion around Washington DC, in that like, December, January
Yeah.
timeframe.
Okay.
Or maybe go back to our,
So there's-
our board meeting that we actually discussed that, because I thought you did bring some reasonable solution to that.
I
So-
think the language
See, I-
Mary has here is accurate, which is in a previous meeting, the board voted to send members to either CSBA or the
So it's one or
CSBA.
the other.
So that's
For
what I,
the individuals,
Somebody
yeah,
can't go to both.
Well,
correct. I
and I
thought
think-
that's what we decided, but.
and then I think what Chris's point after that, sorry to quote you because I think it was, we can always change it later on. It doesn't, this isn't set in
It's
stone,
like it's
any
done, right,
decision.
right.
right.
It's not a
And
mandate.
everybody goes to them,
Right.
and then, in February, somebody's like, something big's happening,
Yeah.
we want to send to. they
Yeah,
want to go
right.
to.
Yeah.
Do that too.
Okay, great,
Depending.
perfect.
Okay,
So maybe confirm that
Yes.
when can we cancel without a fee?
great.
And if that's the case, unless there's someone who knows they can't make those dates, she'll book 5. So if everyone's either a maybe on the annual conference, then if there's not a fee or we can book, then we'll book all 5. And then we'll revisit it prior to the cancellation fee.
Date,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay, great. So there's no action needed.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, section 9, review of action items, tasking and calendar.
I have a task, which is, I would like Gretchen Ross to please come forward. Because as
Must
many
be
of you
masters in
know,
governance.
Gretchen
Oh.
took on the challenge to get
Oh, I
her
got was a
master's in
pin.
governance, and she completed successfully that.
Yay,
So
Gretchen.
this is your certificate.
Got a lot of
I
work.
believe there's
Yeah.
an official pin in here, and we could give her a round of applause.
I got it on a private program.
Oh,
I had to go to Sacramento every month for like 5 months.
oh, really?
But it was
You should
free.
do it online.
Awesome. And
I think so.
congratulations.
But it was free
So
because they were
been a
redoing this thing. So
leader,
those that did it.
grows and
got to do it for
learns and
free.
spends time.
What
with
it cost
people.
her?
Get that.
I
I
don't know.
appreciate that.
And I felt that this program was really well worth the time.
Great.
Yeah, it's a good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations, Gretchen.
Did you know you were
As-
getting that?
As far as tasking, I know with the election coming in, we do have people running in both areas. Is sponsoring a candidate forum, having the League of Women Voters come in, something we'd want to pursue?
That's definitely up to the board.
I tried to do that once before there was an election. The League of Women Voters will do it if all the candidates agree.
Oh.
And if all the candidates don't agree, they will not be willing to sponsor it. But I think it'd be better to have a nonpartisan group like that come, and then people write questions, they sort through the questions and do all that, rather than, I just think it's better to have them do it. Is that something that we want to?
That's what they did first time I
Explore.
ran, I think.
What
I
we
did it too. When I
Yeah.
first ran.
We
I
can
remember
all-
sitting up there.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
We can, it depends on, if you guys would like, Mary could contact the candidates and see if they'd be interested and bring that back to the board. If it's something the board would like her to pursue.
I would.
I would.
Yeah, if they all want
Individually ask
to,
the
sure.
candidates, and then we go from there.
Right, yeah, no decisions can be made till after what, Friday, because you said it's the incumbent. That's
so
fascinating.
I'm 99% sure that's what she said, but you know, there's always a little sneaky.
Well, it makes,
That sounds right.
it makes sense.
No, it completely makes sense.
Because I couldn't put incumbent down. Because I'm not legally an incumbent. So then I think I brought up the fact that it extended the time.
Right.
You thought what?
I thought it said incumbent.
It doesn't. No. It says CSBA or whatever it says. I don't remember now.
Okay.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a really tricky law because it negates the 8 years that I've served the community and and it really does not inform the voters of who I am.
But that's what you put in your qualification statement.
The one that goes the brochure that nobody reads.
I read mine.
Oh,
I read mine.
Well, you did
Yeah.
your master's in government.
I read mine every time.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very
It is what it
interesting.
is.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
But I mean, it does make sense because you guys were elected at large, so us three would be considered incumbents still.
And just your. area.
Because we got elected
Were
in
you
our
listed as
areas.
Incumbent on the.
I don't-
Oh.
Well, it doesn't
you
matter,
were
but
unopposed, so you would
Right.
have been on, yeah,
But if we had to run right now, the three of us are incumbents.
right.
What she's saying is they're not because they didn't get elected by
That
that
makes sense.
But that
territory. Yeah, should have stayed at large.
Agreed.
Hey, I wasn't on here when that happened. I came to board meetings.
I'm very mad about that.
Well, you did it.
No, I didn't have, everybody said, you don't have a choice, you don't have a choice.
You still voted.
Yeah, it's so interesting though, because as we look at the candidates the districts that are still at large because they haven't been. sued yet.
Challenge.
Yeah, but there are some local ones that I'm like, oh, they're still at large. Interesting, like.
Yeah.
But that's probably what a lot of those agencies look at now and they're like, okay, there's our next target, so.
Well, Tascadero, I think, right?
Yes.
That
that's-
large,
That
yeah.
was the one I was actually thinking of.
Right.
And they're
Yeah,
happy.
they
Yeah.
are.
And
Is
then
it,
what?
it is the AG? Is AG still at large?
Well, they might be areas now.
Mhm.
Yeah. I
Was
think
there
they-
anything?
we will have students present at our next, we will have our new PTA president present at our next meeting. And our students will speak to some of the new schedule changes, things that are happening in the school, which I think will be great. And we will go from there and we'll let you guys know how obviously the school year starting, again, anytime you want to schedule a time to go to classrooms, we are always available, either Liz or myself. Since we're talking calendar, I will be out of district Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm dropping my youngest daughter off at college.
Nice.
Where's she going?
She's going to
If you
Berkeley.
don't mind.
Oh, yeah, so she's going to Berkeley, so in-state. Not like her older sister, so, yeah, so we will be doing that Tuesday, Wednesday, and I'll be back in
You're gonna be
district.
an empty nest.
Yeah, I know.
Don't say it to her.
It's gonna be wonderful, but we're just not
More
quite.
energy for the school.
Yes, I know, no, really, thank goodness, today my heart was so full, cause I've been, packing my child away, to go to school, and then to
Just
have
taking
all
on
these
more
falcons come in, I'm like, oh, this is
Yeah.
exactly why I'm here, it was wonderful.
Nice. Right.
All right,
Anything else
Alrighty.
to add to calendar next?
No,
Tasking, good.
all right, we are adjourned, 7:21.